Hello everybody, hope you are doing well and following my earlier videos. So in this video, we will discuss about the substitution electrophilic bimolecular type reaction using alkyl lithium reagents. So why this is important for asymmetric synthesis? Because we use butyl lithium or related reagent a lot to carry out the asymmetric synthesis reaction in our laboratory. We need to know how the reaction works, what are the origin of the zero selectivity, all these things. So I'll try to discuss very briefly, not much in details. So let's proceed with this. Let us discuss in the context with our allylation reactions. You know the allyl titanium reagent is an excellent reagent for the allylation reaction. So one of such reagent is just drawn here as shown here. Okay, with the E alkene and a configurationally stable carbon titanium chiral center. So this is a chiral carbon titanium bond. Okay, this is part of this carbon chiral center. Question is how you can generate them in a enantiomerically pure form and how you can stop their racemization and what are the mechanism for this. Okay, I'll focus mostly on the mechanism part at the moment. So this chiral titanium reagent is generated from this chiral configurationally stable chiral carbon lithium reagent. So okay, and this lithium reagent is stable at lower than minus 70-degree temperature. By transmutation with titanium tetraisopropoxide electrophile, the reaction can occur from the same phase as like carbon lithium bond on the same side, and this will give you this anti-allylation product. Okay, so with a good ease and aid. Another way, if the titanium electrophile attack from the back side opposite to the carbon lithium bond, so one will generate this one, this titanium compound or titanium is just resides at the below the plane of this screen. Okay, so if one can generate either this carbon titanium, this one allyl titanium complex, or this one where titanium is up and here titanium is down, if we can synthesize them in enantiomerically pure form and as a one isomer, it can be easily used for the allylation reaction as shown here. Okay, the question is why in this case you are getting retention of original configuration and here why it is inversion of the original carbon lithium conformations. So we are going to discuss about them. Before we want to discuss them, we need to know about the molecular orbital. So this is a very oversimplified model. Okay, so if you think about the simplest possible, the lithium reagent is the methyl lithium. So here is 3 hydrogen and 1 lithium covalently bonded with the carbon. So if you consider a sp3 hybridized one, mostly the carbon atom form bond with the lithium via a px orbital and lithium uses 2s orbital as shown here, px orbital of carbon and 2s orbital of the lithium, and which is at the energy level minus 5.4 electron volt higher in energy than the carbon minus 10.7 electron volt for the carbon p orbitals. So generally organolithium compounds stay as aggregate, okay, in a oligomeric form, which I will not discuss at the moment. Most strongly interacting orbital for this bond formation will be 2px on the carbon and 2s orbital on lithium. So energy of this one, as I told already, minus 10.7 and here it is minus 5.4 electron volt. The bonding orbital here, sigma LIC, these bonding orbitals, this will be most homo, okay, highest occupied molecular orbitals. This will be like giving electrons to the electrophile, and it will be more close to this carbon. Okay, so the more electron population will be towards the carbon. So the lithium carbon bond is highly polarized covalent bond rather than a ionic bond. So we will not consider lithium carbon bond as an ionic bond. It's a highly polarized covalent bond. So now The anti-bonding orbital, the sigma star lithium carbon, this one, this will be more closer to the lithium energy, and it will be the pi star. So the pi star orbital coefficient will be mostly residing on the lithium. So overall, in a bonding situation, a px orbital, or you can consider also sp3 hybridized one. So hybridized orbital, this will be overlapping with the lithium, and you are getting the bonding situation with the same phase they are overlapping. So both are white color. And here for the sigma star one, the lithium and this px orbital meets in the opposite phase, so you get the sigma star, and this is more close to lithium. So if you draw the HOMO, highest occupied molecular orbital, which is more residing on the carbon mostly, so this will be the contour diagram of this HOMO, of this carbon lithium bond. Here if you check very carefully, this is very important diagram. This is the electron density between carbon and lithium. The majority of the electron resides in between carbon and lithium. So it is here. However, at the backside of this carbon and lithium, there are also considerable amount of the electron density present. Okay, so when a carbon lithium bond interact with the electrophile, so this will be HOMO of this carbon lithium will be interacting with the LUMO of the electrophile. So LUMO will be unoccupied orbitals of the electrophile. So that can interact in between carbon lithium, this electron cloud, or the backside of this carbon lithium bond here. So these are the major factor. Whether it is attacking here, it will be the retention. When it attacks from the front and from between this carbon lithium, and when the electrophile approach from the backside, it will be the inversion. I'll discuss in details later. Now, if you consider the LUMO of this one, this is how it looks like. So here the most of the orbital coefficient stays on the lithium. So for this carbon lithium bond is highly polarized. So carbon is mostly, it will be surrounded by the electron cloud, and lithium will be the electron deficient and the like cation. So when something want to coordinate, let's say carbonine oxygen coordinate with this methyl lithium, so lithium will be coordinated with the oxygen lone pair. So it will be not the carbon, because the pi, that sigma star is orbital coefficient reside on the lithium. Okay. So this is the scenario. So this is again the HOMO is very important, and the LUMO. So HOMO for the electrophilic substitution electrophilic bimolecular reactions. So now let us go to the next slide. Let us discuss in more details about the inversion versus retention case. So if you consider this HOMO orbital of the carbon lithium bond, so most of the electrons stay in between carbon and lithium, but it is the highest electron population here in this region between carbon and lithium, and there are also significant amount of the electron density present at the backside of the carbon lithium bond. It is here, which is actually this part, and here the highest population electron population is here. So now a electrophile approach to this carbon lithium bond, how it can be approached? How it can approach? It can approach from the two phases, from the backside, where in the backside there is, as I told, there is significant amount of the electron density there, which will be attracting the electrophile. There will be overlap. On the backside attack, like your SN2 reaction, where it's like a substitution nucleophilic bimolecular. It is a substitution electrophilic bimolecular. So here electrophile attack from the backside, and you get the inversion. Okay, this is inversion of configuration is comparatively less common. However, there are good number of examples are there, and when it work with quite nice stereoselective manner. So frontier orbitals involve HOMO of this lithium carbon bond and interact with the LUMO of the electrophile. So when this scenario comes, okay, inversion of configuration means attack occurs on the backside of the carbon lithium bond. When the electrophile is very reactive and electrophile doesn't need any activation from this lithium cation. What does it mean? So when you add an electrophile, let's say aldehyde or carbonyl. So that carbonyl will be interacting with this HOMO through carbonyl's pi star orbital, which is LUMO. So now, if the carbonyl coordinate with this lithium cation, the faster the LUMO will be lowered down. So the matching will be, the energy difference between the HOMO and LUMO will be much less and reaction will be much faster. So carbonyl is activated by the lithium cation. So when you take a weak electrophile which need Lewis acid activation, this type of scenario comes. Okay, this is for the high. This case, the inversion is for the electrophile which is highly reactive, doesn't need any activation from the lithium. So attack can occur from the backside. Also remember, depends, this is not the bare lithium, right? There will be a lot of things around, this will be aggregated. The steric will be also factor when a electrophile approach from the front. But at the same time, if you think about the most usual pattern, the retention of configuration, what happened here, the LUMO of the electrophile approach or attracted by the HOMO of by the electron cloud present in between carbon lithium bond. And as I told you earlier, the most of the electron cloud are staying here, not at the backside. So that is one driving factor. But the most important one, the lithium coordinate with the electrophile. Okay, let's you took the ketone, that carbonyl lone pair will be coordinating with the lithium. Because of that coordination, so lithium is fixed towards the carbon and lithium. So the attack will be taking place from the same side as carbon lithium bond there, because of this additional handle, because of this additional interaction or coordination. Okay, that gives some stabilization and also lower down the LUMO energy, as I'm telling again and again. So that will be more activated. Then the overlap take place and we get the retention of the configuration. So if electrophile attracted towards the highest electron population, this side, and weak electrophile need to be activated. Okay, and when it is activated, it will be reacting much faster. So this is the scenario. So moral of the story at this point, for the highly reactive electrophile or the electrophile which cannot coordinate with the lithium, that is also possible. Okay, it's a trialkyl boron case. So there is nothing to coordinate with the lithium, because trialkyl boron, there is no lone pair, so they cannot coordinate with the lithium. But also when there is a chance of coordination, but still the electrophile is so reactive, it can also react from the backside. It doesn't need any activation. However, when there is a coordination possible from the electrophile and the in between electrophile and lithium, so and also activation of the electrophile possible, it will be attacking from the front side. Okay. So one such example, as I discussed at the beginning, so if you consider this configurationally stable carbon lithium bond, it will be reacting with this titanium tetraisopropoxide, and between this and this, here you get the retention of configuration, because you know lithium is very much oxophilic. So lithium like to coordinate with the lone pair of oxygen, and you know the titanium tetraisopropoxide has oxygen, it interact with the lithium, actually coordinate with the lithium, which is actually believed to be, and activation of the titanium 4 occurs, and then finally the transmetallation take place. So you get the retention of the original chiral center. However, for the very reactive electrophile like titanium N82(3) chloride, this one, a chlorine is a much better leaving group compared to the isopropyl oxide, so it can react much faster, and also the N82 is sterically hindered and may not be that much good coordinating agent towards the titanium. Okay, towards the lithium. Sorry. So because titanium here, the containing the nitrogen, this N82, so this nitrogen is not a good, may not be undergoing good coordination with the lithium, and it is also very good electrophile, having a excellent leaving group compared to this one. So it reacts from the backside without undergoing any coordination with the lithium. So you get the inversion of configuration. So then you get the aldol product accordingly, which I'll be discussing in another video. Another beautiful example in this series is the synthesis of quaternary alcohol in enantiomerically pure form, starting with the enantiomerically pure alcohol. So this is a secondary alcohol which is enantiomerically pure. Okay, it can be synthesized by asymmetric hydrogenation, naive hydrogenation using acetophenone or corresponding aromatic. This is methyl, this ketone. After getting this alcohol, it can be protected as a carbamate. Now by using secondary butyl lithium, okay, this proton can be deprotonated to get this lithium. This carbonate group actually stabilizes this carbon lithium bond. Without the help of this carbon lithium bond undergo rapid racemization. Okay, and because of this stability, this type of carbon lithium reagent are stable but in lower temperature, let's say minus 70 degree temperature. So once you have this one, if you react with boronic ester, okay, so ethyl quinocolone, this boronic ester, if you react with this, you know this oxygen can coordinate with the lithium, and then this can be transferred to the boron to get this boronate, this compound, the negative one. This is happening from the same side at the carbon lithium bond because of the lithium coordinate with this oxygen lone pair. And then once it happened, this deprotonation work at minus 78 degree centigrade, and this also added at minus 78 degree temperature. Once you have this 8 complex, and if you warm it up, 1,2 migration occurs, and it from the back side, and OCB group, actually this group, carbamate group, leaves, and you get the another inversion here. Here you get the inversion, okay, for this, and not another, here you get the inversion, and then you get this boronate complex again, and this boronate complex in situ can be oxidized, you know the famous hydroboration oxidation reactions to get this quaternary alcohol. So starting with this compound, and you are getting this enantiomerically pure form, overall yield from here to there in all together in one pot 95% yield. There are several examples, I have taken only one. And enantiomeric ratio, here you get R as a major isomer in a 99:1 ratio. Okay, enantiomeric ratio. In a similar way, if you add triethyl boron, okay, then what happened? Triethyl boron has only one empty orbital, okay, it doesn't have any lone pair. Same way the alkyl group, so they cannot coordinate with the lithium, so there is no chance of activation. And then it is also quite good reactive electrophile, and it reacts from the back side of this carbon lithium bond, and you get the here is a methyl down and you get the methyl up, so you get the inversion. Okay, so this lithium goes and it attacks from the back side with the remaining electron out, because there is some orbital coefficient in the HOMO for this carbon lithium bond. So because it attacks from the back side, you get the inversion, and then again from here to there it is at minus 78 degree temperature. Then you warm it up, then this ethyl migrate from the back side, and here you get the inversion. So you get boron comes here and ethyl goes there. Again hydroboration oxidation, you get this quaternary alcohol. Here you get the AS as a major isomer in a 99:1 ratio. So here R2S ratio 1:99, here R2S 99:1. So starting with only one enantiomer, you can get both the enantiomer selective. Okay, here you get the S, here you get the R. And this is an excellent work, and Professor Agarwal is very known for this type of boron chemistry, and it was published by Professor Agarwal Research Group. I'll take another example. This is another beautiful example. If you take the N-butyl lithium and chiral spartin, I will not discuss here much in details. So if you actually this spartin coordinate breaks the lithium carbon, this type of alkyl lithium reagent stays in the aggregation, okay, and this bidentate spartin ligand, they break that, and you get this chiral base, and you can selectively deprotonate one of this prochiral CH. Okay, this is a prochiral center. So it is a prochiral compound, and you can deprotonate either this CH or from the back side selectively with the spartin, with the help of the spartin. Selectively, this front proton is deprotonated to get this configurationally stable carbon lithium bond. Okay, you get it by asymmetric deprotonation. Now, between these two electrophile, if you take, this is a methyl acrylate, is an excellent Michael acceptor and highly reactive electrophile. It doesn't need any activation, so it reacts without coordination with the lithium, and hence it attack from the it undergo attack from the back side. So you get the inversion of configuration. At the same time, this 2-bromoethyl acetate, it also react, but from the same phase as carbon lithium bonds resides. Okay, because this ester group undergo coordination with the lithium, and then this carbon lithium, this HOMO interact with this pi star of the CBr bond, and you get this alkylation here. Okay, from the same side of this carbon lithium bond, so you get the retention of configuration. Okay, so we learned so far about the how the carbon lithium bond react. You use lot of reactions, several reaction using this butyl lithium reagent, so you need to know in details. So I'll discuss in the next video more in details. Until then, see you. Bye bye.